Today's question comes from John in California. John writes, my wife and I are approaching 60 and have been married for 30 years. She's had a gambling problem since we got married, and it's getting progressively worse. She keeps promising to quit, but every month spends thousands of dollars on her hobby.
Hobby?
I'm just going to underline that one
Just
real quick.
mark that number, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
She has a job but never uses her income toward our family expenses. To add to the mess, we had a daughter that I believed to be mine until she had a DNA test that showed we are not related. So in a nutshell, our marriage is a long-term sham. At this point, I have zero interest in finding a different wife, so I see two possible paths. I'll go ahead and mark that one. We can either divorce and split our net worth, with me possibly getting strapped with alimony payments for the rest of my life, or I can put up with her nonsense of slowly bleeding down our savings and investments. From a practical point of view, it may be quote-unquote cheaper to keep her, but I'd still have to deal with the mental mess. What would you do in my situation?
John, you are a freaking tragedy.
Wow, it's like a country song. It's like two country songs.
And, I love how you just completely painted yourself into the corner, and there's only two possible scenarios out of this, and both of them you die.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
It's like
I'm going to starve to death or have a psychotic break.
Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely lose my mind, or we're gonna be cheaper to keep her, and I'm gonna tolerate it. You are making an excuse for tolerating this all these years because you hadn't manned up and dealt with the problems in the last 30 freaking years.
Every home is built with a door on it, John. Every home. And if somebody's lying to you about whether your kid, they're stealing, good grief. Yeah, you got to deal with this ASAP. And gonna get me all fired up, Dave.
You need to answer the question.
Here's the question. Number one, a gambling problem is an addiction, not a hobby. Stop painting it with this milquetoast, wet toast language. It's an addiction. You're married to someone who is struggling with an addiction. Number two, she has a job, but she never used her income towards her family expenses.
That's your fault.
Correct. Number three, we have a daughter that I believe to be mine. My marriage is a long-term sham. Maybe. But if it is, it's because you've participated in this long-term sham. Okay? I want you to look in the mirror on this.
None of this is new information.
Correct. At this point, we have zero interest in finding a different wife. That is completely irrelevant to the point that you are worth more than living in a home where somebody is using you as toilet paper. Stop. Nonsense. You don't have to be interested in finding a different wife. You can be interested in preserving your dignity, taking care of your mental and physical health, and helping your wife not deal with her hobby, but possibly get help because she's ill. Should we continue?
Mm-hmm.
You can divorce. I'm never going to tell somebody to get divorced, but this is a mess. You've been cheated on. Someone's liquidating your money. You need to go see an attorney and or a marriage counselor today, is what I'm saying. This is a mess.
Here's the thing. People do stupid butt stuff.
Absolutely.
That are harmful to other people. And if it happens to you once, shame on her.
Yep.
Happens to you twice, happens to you 3 times, happens to you 4 times, shame on you.
Happens to you over 30 years since we got married.
Shame on you for not dealing with it.
Right.
And so Dave Ramsey shaming someone. Oh, brother, you dadgum snowflakes. But the deal is this. It is your fault that you haven't dealt with this before now.
Correct.
And you act like you're somehow stuck. You're not stuck.
No, that's the title of my new book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future. Thanks for the underhand pitch here, John from California. You've got to own what is. And what is you've allowed yourself to participate in somebody else's illness or their addiction or their bad behavior, whatever you want to call it, for 30 years.
So tell me, John, on this. What I read is this lady is messed up, and he's almost as messed up as she is.
Yes.
So it's hard for me to be hopeful that both of them can come around.
Why would she change her life? Her life is fantastic.
She gets to do whatever she wants.
Whatever she wants.
Whenever she wants.
With no consequence.
And he just looks at it.
She lives in a rent-free home.
He just whines and bitches.
Someone else pays her food and what? Yeah.
But never does anything about it. Yeah. So here's the deal. I mean, in other words, he can come in tomorrow and, with the help of a counselor, say we're going to go to a marriage counselor, and in order for me to stay, here's what has to happen. Right. An ultimatum. Yep. Okay. No more gambling.
Yep.
And your money becomes our money. And anything that looks or smells anything like infidelity, and we're done.
Right.
I mean, these are non-negotiables. He could come in tomorrow, and then she could say, oh, you're right. After 30 years of doing it this way, I'm just going to stop tomorrow.
Right. Probably not, right?
Not
but here's what is going to happen. It's not a matter of him saying, well, then I guess I have to do this. What he has to do is draw boundaries, and then she gets to choose, do I want to be in a relationship with him?
Yeah, and she's already chosen that, by the way.
That's for 30 years she has.
Yeah,
right?
that she doesn't.
That's right. So John, you got to start.
These are two lazy people. They're lazy in that they will not deal with their stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say intellectually, or they're just so traumatized.
Emotionally lazy, yeah. But whatever the reason is they're not dealing with their stuff, either one of them.
Yeah.
Is what I'm seeing. So, I mean, it's just good old boy stuff. But anyway, yeah, so that's what you are going to, if you asking us what to do, we would say you're going to sit down with a therapist and you're going to say, these are the conditions under which I stay, or you're going to just say, I'm calling it a day, click out, peace out, and get an attorney. And to presuppose that you're always going to pay alimony, you probably are after 30 years. But that also is a negotiation, and she probably wants free of you.
And let me say this, not tongue-in-cheek. John, you don't know what going to bed, just going to sleep, feels like without medication. You don't know what it's like laughing from your guts anymore. You don't know what it's like to be with just a group of buddies and y'all are having a good time. You've lost that sense of joy, and what I would tell you is you're approaching 60. You got, 30 years left? You can choose from this point forward to make those 30 years the best 30 years of your 60, or you can choose to, this way. The point is, both paths are going to be hard. Choose which kind of hard you want. You want hard where you slowly drown, or you want hard where you slowly stand back up? You get to pick.
Yeah, because it is way past time to stand up, dude.
Stand up, John.
Way past time to stand up.
This breaks my heart, Dave. Yeah. How many couples in the United States live like this?
You know,
their roommates.
But I mean, people are so funny after they get clear. Their sense of humor comes back. Hey, one guy said, I got rid of $50,000 worth of debt, and I said, what'd you do? How'd you do that? And he goes, I divorced her.
Oh gosh, you need better friends.
Well, that's funny.
I know.
I don't care who you are. We're not recommending divorce. We're not glamorizing it. But that's funny.